Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. I want to revisit a conversation that we had in the preseason, and I don't want to do any trolling. I don't want to like the typical like, hey T.O., how's the ACC doing? Hey Fanta, how's the Big East? I want to have a real conversation. ACC or the Big East? Which league right now would you call more successful and better? Because I think there's arguments both ways. And honestly, I think it's kind of flipped compared to what it was in the preseason.
Go ahead, John. I'm going to let you go on this one.
Well, so I think what you're saying about things flipping is you're looking at the ACC, and the very thing that we were criticizing the ACC for in the preseason is now something that you could look at with the Big East. But in terms of the top of the leagues, so the top of the ACC is better than we thought. The top of the Big East is not as good as we thought it was. And we said that the top of the Big East would carry this league and be able to get it more bids, which is exactly what's now happening. But the top of the Big East is suffering a little bit as a result. Look, I think UConn, when Donovan Clingan is in, is the best team in the country. I really believe that. And Tristan Newton, when he's on, fully on, they're the best team in America. They lost to Kansas. The other shooters around Newton had an off night, but they were in it at Allen Fieldhouse. There's nothing wrong with that. The Big East is deeper than the ACC right now. Does it mean that it will be in 4 weeks? We got to see. We got to see how how does Providence handle life without Bryce Hopkins? Does this make them a bubble team? Does this make them a team that now is missing the tournament altogether? We'll see. Their non-conference isn't exactly loaded with great results. They did beat the doors off Wisconsin,
which will be a valuable win.
Yeah, and they did beat Marquette. I think that's the question mark in the Big East right now. Marquette looks to be having some issues. They're not as deep as they were last year, and David Joplin hasn't fully filled that void left by Olivier Maxence Prosper. It's been too big for him. And Kolek's off, guys. Kolek's not playing very well right now. He was a non-factor at Seton Hall. He went 1 for 6 in that game. I mean, what's going on? Can Seton Hall prevail? Is this just a 3 or 4 week thing, or is this going to be? Now, I actually think that it is going to be something that continues, because I think Shaheen Holloway's figured it out, and he's got a team right now that over the last 4 weeks, 4 guys are averaging in double figures. That core 4 of Richmond, Dawes, Dre Davis, and Wusu. St. John's is my dark horse. I think St. John's they've won 9 of 11. If you watch St. John's today, T.O., as opposed to November, it's pretty unbelievable how much they've grown as a team. They're a dangerous, dangerous team. But the Big East right now has good teams. Good teams. They have one great team. Marquette's not even great right now. Creighton's not great right now. Villanova's certainly not great. They're inconsistent. So the Big East is deeper than we thought it was in early December, but it's actually come at the expense of the top. Whereas the ACC, Duke keeps picking up steam. North Carolina can make the national championship game.
Yes.
They're tough defensively. They have veterans. Hubert Davis, I think, is on this revenge tour. I like it. I like the makeup of their team. I still love Clemson.
Hubert's done a nice job with that team this year.
I still love Clemson. And last I checked, Jim Larinaga is still the coach at Miami. And his team's getting better and better and better. So it's back and forth. I think the better league is the Big East. But I think the top of the ACC is better right now than the Big East.
I would agree with all of that. I think it's very interesting. I would probably say the best team right now, with the Donovan Clingan injury factored in, the best team in the ACC is better than the best team in the Big East. The second best team in the ACC is better than the second best team in the Big East. And the third best team in the ACC is better than the third best team in the Big East. And then once you get past that, all of those. But real quick, before you make your point, I want you to elaborate on what you said about Hubert Davis doing a nice job.
He has done a nice job. This year's a little bit different. he's fit those pieces together. He's convinced Elliot Cadeau not to shoot the ball whenever they go under screens. And what ends up happening is, even though he kind of gets stonewalled right at the beginning, like that offense continues to move. And I think Hubert's taken a lot of pressure off of Armando Bacot by putting the emphasis offensively on Harrison Ingram and letting some of those other guys shoot it. And he's allowed Armando Bacot to do what he does best, and that's crash the offensive boards and just be a bully. He's a bully. There's no other way to put that. He's a bully. I think Hubert's done a really nice job with North Carolina, and I think that team fits. I still get nervous whenever Wojcik gets in that game. That's the only thing that – and I'm sure he's a great kid. I know his dad's a nice guy. It's just I don't think he's a North Carolina player. And I think he was really good at Brown. I just don't know that it necessarily translates. I think he plays hard. He's so scrappy to a point of, it worries you. But it just, whenever we get to that point on the bench, it worries me a little bit. So after the fourth best team in the ACC, so who's your top three? Because that argument right there intrigued me, because when you start going one by one, that was an intriguing argument. The problem is where the Big East has 11 teams, the ACC has 15. That's really our problem. It's the same problem the Big 12 is going to have at the end of the season by adding some of these teams from the other leagues. It's going to bring the top down a little bit. Is that not true, Fanta? Who's the fourth best?
The Big East has two awful teams.
Okay.
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 each and every week of the college basketball season. We have a special offer that will be available starting on Tuesday, January 9th and running through Monday, February 12th, the morning after Super Bowl 58. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, in honor of the big game, you can use the bonus code FIELD158 and you'll get $158 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD158. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD158 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create separate accounts in each state. It's easy, it's simple, it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the heart of the college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odd boosts, and my favorite, a nice juicy parlay boost. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Field 158.
So to me, it's not true, because you're saying you're holding it against the Big East for having fewer teams. Meanwhile,
I'm holding it against the ACC for having more teams.
But I think you're also holding it against the Big East for having fewer teams. You're saying the Big East is advantageous for having fewer teams.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
What about the Big Ten? Big Ten keeps on.
We're not talking about the Big Ten right now. I'm talking about the Big East.
But I'm saying no. But the Big Ten,
that wasn't the question, Fanta. You can't just mold that argument. What are you doing?
The Big Ten has more teams. The Big Ten
can't do that, Fanta. We're talking about two conferences.
Hold on. How many bids will the Big Ten get?
I don't care right now. I'm sitting here talking about.
They'll get 7 or 8.
Fanta, I don't care. We're talking about the Big East and the ACC.
If you have more teams, you shouldn't be faulted. The Big Ten has more teams, and they get the same.
Okay, so Fanta, fine. So the bottom 4 of the ACC are obviously not, or bottom 3, really. Bottom 3, in my opinion. Notre Dame, who, by the way, Shrews coaching his nuts off. Is coaching his nuts off. Good for him. They started out 2-3. There's more pitfalls in the ACC than there are in the Big East, and not only are they those pitfalls in the Big East might as well be low major games. Those 2 at the bottom this year, whoa, buddy. It is. There's no chance of losing those games. There's no chance of losing those games. In the ACC, those bottom teams are better than the worst teams in the Big East. So you can get picked off by one of those teams at the bottom of the ACC. Am I wrong in saying that? Who does Georgetown beat in the ACC? Louisville? It's a close game. And I actually think Louisville wins.
Terrence, Georgetown beat Notre Dame.
Yeah. And you know who DePaul beat?
Louisville.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got me there. All right, I'll shut the fuck up. Yeah, you got me there. I just think that those bottom two teams are much easier to beat on a given night than the bottom teams in the ACC.
I would say when you take Louisville out of the equation, I actually do agree with you because I think that Notre Dame has kind of figured some things out. They're going to be Notre Dame's going to give people a lot of problems because they figured out how to guard and they got a dude in what the hell's the point guard's name?
Marcus Burton.
Marcus Burton. They got a dude that can give you 30 on any night. So Notre Dame's going to find a way to win like 3 games, and you're going to be like, where the hell did that come from? Like, for example, Virginia. Real quick, T.O., circling back one more time.
Who's the 4th best team in the ACC?
I think Miami is the 4th best team in the ACC. I would say the top 3.
Who's the 4th best team? Who's the 4th best team? You think Villanova's the 4th best team?
I would say depending on it's one of Villanova, Seton Hall, or St. John's. And I think it's I was going to say I would probably lean towards St. John's right now.
It's neutral site. Who wins, St. John's or Miami?
Tight, man. Big, great game.
Okay, so 5th best team. Who do you think?
I'd say Miami. I'd say Miami's favored by 3.
Yeah,
4. Okay, so the top 4 teams in the ACC matched up head to head without Donovan Clingan given.
But he's going to be back.
I don't think. Look, I don't think I would probably take St. John's in that matchup.
Now you're just being contrarian.
No,
that's all you're doing. You've already
they're
said
higher ranked in the metrics, and I think that
they are.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So 5th best team, ACC. Who are we putting there?
Wake Forest probably, and I would put
Villanova.
One of Seton Hall or Villanova, and I would
pick the Big East in that one.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean, hold on a second. Villanova is the only team that's undefeated against Quadrant 1. They're 4-0. Like, before we write their death note, I'm
not writing anybody's death note. Fanta, I'm just going down the list.
We just picked Villanova to beat Wake Forest.
I know, but we're like, it's not
Villanova. You're going to go on the road and you're going to beat a team coached by Steve Forbes with Boopy Miller, but you're dead. Is that what you just said?
I'm not saying that. I just think.
Can't believe you killed Kyle Neptune, Fanta.
I think we're being dismissive of Villanova a little bit.
They got to get Justin Moore back, and then we can have a conversation, like a bigger conversation about what Villanova is. Without Justin Moore, they're just kind of like they're kind of holding on and keeping themselves relevant in the meantime. After the top 5, like where are you for teams in the ACC? Is it NC State that's the next best team after that?
11-3, 3-0 in league. They're not bad.
So against Seton Hall.
Yeah, it's currently 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, January 10th, which means in exactly 7 hours and 50 minutes, North Carolina is going to go on the road to play NC State. So I'm going to reserve any takes on NC State until after seeing that game because I just don't think we know what NC State is at this point. But the point being, top 3 right now, no Donovan Clingan. Top 3 in the ACC is better. 4th, okay, we can make an argument, whatever you want. And then once you get past that, it's probably all Big East, I think is the way that I would phrase it. So
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Like in the preseason, we probably would have argued the exact opposite. How the turntables have turned, T.O.
Oh, how the turntables.
Oh, thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field 68 content.